world, you find the highest level of human love. All of it was full of the deep love of humanity, whoever it is. Here there is some difference between the Irfan. I mentioned yesterday that I don't like to use the word mysticism as much as I can, or Sufi, because these are not Irfan. I prefer to use Irfan. Sufism is not Irfan. But sometimes I may use it because of the terminology which is described in the literature. There is one difference between Irfan of Ibn al-Arabi and Irfan of Kharaqani, as well as Irfan of Maulana. In Ibn al-Arabi, you can believe to Ibn al-Arabi on that cosmology, and at the same time, as a man of power, kill millions of people. You can. It is possible. It is so designed that, in fact, you have some theoretical cosmology in your mind. It does not necessarily touch your behavior. It does not necessarily break your walls of decision, self-decision. Later on, if we have time, or I may explain that in more clearly.
Also, you said that. How come to your opinion that if we understand Ibn Arabi, so there is no impact in our belief?
No. I don't want to say that there is no impact. What it is possible means that Ibn al-Arabi Irfan is a cosmology. Theoretically, you have these levels of that. You create a world which its mystic opinion comes from the understanding of this kind of order and management of the universe. It does not come from day-to-day behavior of you, which springs from in the same management, in the ordinary management of life as you are, like others, but it springs from within you because of your special behavior with yourself, not because of a special cosmology. If you don't understand that, forget about my sentence, because if I want to continue all of my lecture, okay, forget. I repent. So he is the human lover. He said that I made a peace with people that I will never break, and declared a war with myself that I will never break. If from Turkestan to Sham, if from the area of Turkestan to Sham, which may be the widest area that he could mention at that time, someone's foot comes to a stone, the pain is mine. And if there is any sadness there, it is mine. You can find in Kashf al-Mahjub, which is very beautiful, of Mujviri, which Reynald Nicholson translated it. And I said that how the mystics, when they tolerate Jafai Khalq, when they tolerate botherness of people, how that opens the way to ascend. This is the address if you want to. Kashf al-Mahjub, page 77. There is a story that a group of people of Khorasan decided to go collectively and meet Abu Sa'id al-Khair, which was at the same time of Kharaqani. And among them was one Christian, but not Muslim. But he hided. That Christian hided his Christianity. Means he's Zonnar. How do you translate Zonnar?
Belt. Belt.
What?
Belt.
Belt?
That's the closest.
Oh yeah, maybe that the special belt, which is a sign of Christianity in the place of worship and things like that. That Christian who was among the group he hid his belt, which was a sign of Christianity, and went with a group of Muslims to visit Abu Sa'id. Abu Sa'id understood that he is hiding that. He didn't like that hiding, and he was not in a good mood with them, and he returned. The same group came to Kharaqani, and Kharaqani knew that he hid that. Kharaqani told them, okay, now you came from a long way, you need to take a shower. And he knew that this man has problem because he hid his Christian dress. And he asked him, come here. And he said that, can I keep your dresses while you are taking shower? Because I think your dress is so special that especially somebody could take care of it. And he took. And he said, I know that your dress is, ordinary people should not see it. Keep it to me. And then he saved it. When he came, he gave it to him. And the man was very impressed. And he said that what was... and Kharaqani was... When he was taking shower, Kharaqani was reciting this verse of the Quran. وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Do not make jadal with, jadal argument with the people of Kitab, mean Christian, Jews and things, unless it is in a very, very good way, the best way. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Because the criteria here is those who are making tyranny, making dhulm, unjust. Those who are unjust, it is different. But if they are not unjust, you shouldn't challenge them, their idea, their belief, unless it goes into our progress kind of discussion, means it is pleasant situation. وَقُولُوا آمَنَّا بِالَّذِي أُنزَلَ إِلَيْنَا وَإِلَيْكُمْ وَإِلَٰهُنَا وَإِلَٰهُكُمْ وَاحِدٌ. And tell them that we have our faith to the same thing that came to you, revealed to you and to us. And my God, our God and your God are the same. So there's no challenge, in fact. He was reciting this verse of Quran, and that Christian who was getting shower and dress, he understood that. Then the Christian came to him and changed the face and things like that. This famous, the sentence that I'm going to have, I have the translation here. This is perhaps the most famous sentence of Kharaqani, known everywhere. And let me tell you a story. When I was about 11 years old, our teacher in the school took us, the boys, one day to go out for just seeing the nature and things like that. And he took us to Kharaqani's Musali. And I read that sentence. And since that time, up to now, that I then spent years in United Nations and working for different kind of human rights and things and so on, I never found any expression richer than this, which was a sentence by a man 1,000 years ago in a corner of a village. He said that هر که در این سراوی درآید نامش دهید و از ایمانش مپرسید که آن که نزد باری تعالی به جان ارزد بر خوان ابوالحسن به نان ارزد. He said that whoever enters my house, which was a place of khanaqah, teaching and praying and worshipping and everything, whoever entered this house, give him bread, give him food, and do not ask of his faith. Because anybody who comes here, he is alive. This means that he deserves to receive life from God. If somebody deserves life from God, does not deserve bread from me, in whatever phase it is. the fact that he is a human and he has received human life from God, then everything is lower than life. So everyone who deserves to receive life become a person, a human. Then there is no need to ask what is his faith, what does he believe, what is his opinion. To give him breath means to serve him. The same behavior, of course, you can find in كشف المحجوب في آداب الصحبة, and you have the page 445. Nicholson translation. Kharagani was very bold, Gustach in saying Persian, with God. Attar mentioned two people among mystics. They said they were Gustach Dargah. They were very bold, very brave, out of protocol with God. And he mentioned Yahya Ma'ad Razi and Abu al-Abbas al-Qassab. Abu al-Abbas al-Qassab, I mentioned, is the one that Kharagani refers to. But in the case of Kharagani, Attar says he had a great, exceptional familiarity with God. And he was in being bold, in his boldness with God, being out of protocol and talking openly, bravely, free of any protocol. Kharagani was in a special as a special potentiality. One night he was praying, saying his prayer, and he heard somebody said that, oh, Bol Hassanu, this Bol Hassanu is the dialect of that area. Oh, Abul Hassan, do you want, this is very interesting, he was in prayer, because Kharagani, when he was there, people used to go and kiss his hand and praise him because they thought he's a man of God and things like that. One night he was in prayer, God told him, do you want that whatever I know from your secrets, which are not so sacred, full of selfishness and things like that, shall I reveal all of this weakness, weak points of you for the people, so that nobody pay attention to you anymore? And Kharagani replied, shall I tell the people all of dimension of your kindness and your rahmah, so that nobody worship you anymore? And God said, oh, forget about the deal. Not you, not me. Okay, go. Again, Kharagani said that I came from there. From there means from God. I came, before that I told you that Kharagani said that even if there was no prophet and thing, I was the same as I am now. He said, because I came from there, and I know how to go back there. I'm not worshipping you because I received some news from you by the others, by prophets and things. And God told him, when he was saying that to God, that, if I worship you, it is not because I received news from anywhere, any source, revelation or things like that. And God said that, but after Mustafa, peace be upon him, after the prophet, we didn't send Gabriel to anyone for any kind of revelation. How do you claim that? That you even without the message of the prophet, you would have been the same. How do you claim that? I told to God, don't you have any other creature than Gabriel? It is the only creature of you? Or you have others? Of Of course, the reply is that yes, I have others. And Kharagani said that one of your creatures is Wahyul Qalb, revelation of my heart, and that is with me. I don't need to Jibreel. And he said that God he said that God one day told me that means opened some kind of kashf, revealed this secret to me, as if he's telling me that I may forgive all people and all the universe if they have sinned, unless I will not, unless the one who claimed to be to love me. So I will forgive everything unless the one who claimed that he loved me. And I said that, okay, if because of I love you, there is no forgiveness, but in my side also there is no regret. Bekub ta bekubim. You fight with me, I fight with you. Mean that you want to reject me, forgiveness, don't think that I will regret. There is no regret. Continue, I will continue. Whatever we are on that state, there is no regret. Inside me there is a sea. Whenever the wind of God's grace comes and the cloud of affinity shows itself, then the rain of love covers the arsh down to the earth. And again he said that God said, "Oh my servant, I will give you anything unless lordship. Give you anything but divine lordship." He said, even if you give, Kharagani said, even if you give it to, I don't want. Put this giving and will give aside. Put this kind of phrase of giving, will give aside, as this wording does not deserve you. He didn't go to Hajj and encourage Abu Said not to go as well. I think I should go, some of them I should finish because our time is coming to the end. What? 20 minutes, okay. Let's say that okay. He encouraged Abu Said, why you not be the one to whom Kaaba will come? Stay tonight with us at the mosque to see Kaaba. In the middle of the night, he told Abu Said, look, Kaaba was circumambulating about them. Abu al-Hasan said, A'udhu Billah. Abu Said took the Kaaba's door handle, requesting his wishes from God. You know, these are, when I said that in this realm, you cannot differentiate between the stories and reality that much. There is it is narrated in the sources that Avicenna came to visit Kharagani in Kharagan. And Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi came also to see. When Mahmud came to Abu Said, to Kharagani, before him people came to him saying that, oh, when he comes, he's your guest. They asked Kharagani to come in the, up to the front of the door of the room to welcome him. And Kharagani said, no, I will not. And Mahmud came with all of that glory that you know. And he came, and Kharagani was sitting there, and he went there, sitting, and there was some dry bread there. And he asked Mahmud, okay, take some bread. And Mahmud started to eat because he was hungry from the way. And it was so dried, he was, yes, he couldn't swallow it easily. And he said, oh, it is difficult to swallow that. And Kharagani told him that, then how do you swallow all of these people's life and wealth and all of the millions of people? Then how do you easily swallow that? And then Mahmoud realized what is the discussion. And then he tried to talk, and there was some development perhaps. Then, when Mahmoud wanted to say goodbye, Kharagani then went with him up to the door. And they asked him why you didn't welcome him. Now you are saying goodbye to him, you go behind him. He said that because now he had the blessing of sitting with Darwish for a moment. Then he deserves for that. His meeting with Abu Sa'id, his being influenced by Abu Abbas Qassab teaching, is confirmed by reliable sources. When we talk about Abu Abbas Qassab is in Amul, Iran, north of Iran. Unfortunately, like many other cases, his grave is not such in a good condition. Abu Abbas is not a mystic known for ordinary people. His approach to describe events around him is so simple, that you find being miraculous in that simplicity. Just like Kharagani. One day, I give you an example. One day, Abu Abbas was sitting beside the wall, and somebody was passing, told Abu Abbas, just there was a wall here, and he was sitting there taking some rest. And somebody told Abu Abbas that, can you please tell us some secrets about Tawheed, about God, and how we should see miracles of God? How do you introduce miracles of the Prophet to us? And Abu Abbas said that, do you need to these kind of things, complicated things, to go through the miracles of the Prophet and to think of God? He said that, then what? He said that, don't you see the reality that I'm sitting here beside this wall, and the wall is not coming to my head? It's not a miracle? Isn't it enough? You can see the ring, the rings of this kind of paying attention to events around in the sense of Kharagani. We have another 10 minutes. I think it's better not to go to the last topic that I have to say about Kharagani because it takes time. I give you these 10 minutes to discuss whatever.
Thank you very much. I think right, because then once we come back, we want to continue the topics. So indeed,
I want to go to Ain al-Wazat.
As well. Sure. So 10 minutes of questions, please. Who's going to go first? Be brave.
No question?
Yes.
Okay.
No, yes, I know
Give me
yes.
rest.
Come on, ask Hussein.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for presenting another expression of mysticism for Irfan. Okay, we have now different language of Irfan experiences. how about the common ground? Do you say that? Do you,
About what?
common ground. So
Yeah, common
is-
ground, yeah.
does it remain or possibility to have common ground in order to accommodate, understand all different language in mysticism in such a way that we can make something like a judgment or a little bit of explanation of
Yeah.
those language of experience. Common ground for all.
How we can come to common language?
Yeah, common ground is common language for as the basis to accommodate all these different level or this different language of mysticism.
I don't know. It's a very, very subtle question. I'm not capable of introducing such a language.
Because talking about religious language, it is something core issue in now Kalam Jadid in new theology, and one of the source of relativism.
Source of what?
One source
Relativism,
of relativism.
yeah.
And now we are facing skepticism or relativism. So, in my opinion, we should be very careful talking about different language because this issue will be source of skepticism or relativism. So we don't have a common ground or something that which is the basis for all different language to know reality.
Sammy wants to say
Can I just come in? I think I understand what the professor is saying, and it's a really valid point. And I wanted to ask this, but I didn't know how to put it into words. Actually, it's the idea that well, it's wonderful how you're presenting your work, and it's through this idea of Irfan. But I think if we give these ideas a special place and say they cannot be interpreted because there's a subtlety of language, I think you fall in, we kind of makes it difficult to really understand the central message because we give them a special place. Whilst I admire that there are subtleties and it cannot be translated to the full effect into another language, but I think that, like the professor is saying, to find a common ground, we have to perhaps go to the central core of the message and see what are these people really trying to say. I think this is what the professor said.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no, I got. But he said that how? He asked me to introduce a language which embraces all of these different languages. You want that? Yes?
Yeah, at least to understand.
the basis to
Explanation. Common ground to understand all different language. So, for example, when Bastami said nothing exists in the house but God, in philosophical speaking, we can say this. We can make a judgment if this statement will be true or reasonable if we delete the term of in the house. Nothing exists but God. It is true. But why he introduced, he remained a particular thing in the universal statement. So I mean, if we employ some kind of philosophical understanding on those language, maybe we can find what I call common ground. For understanding of this language.
Yesterday, I think in my introduction, I think I already mentioned to a large extent the impossibility of that, because I said that the essence of this kind of language is in the same type as it is the language of art. For understanding art, you cannot define any philosophical method. You cannot. Being touched by something, by beauty, you cannot define any rule. In philosophy of science is a good example. In philosophy of science, even in science, when you want to to introduce a theory. There was mechanism, they were saying before that, okay, in 19th century and the early 20th century, they said that first is observation, then it is the classification, then it is the test, then out of that you come to a theory. But now, philosophers of science saying that nobody can find any rule. How can we come to an understanding of a theory? No one. And this is a problem, because this is a matter of art. You know, for example, Kekulé, when he wanted to introduce this chemical formula of, circle formula of benzene, yeah. He couldn't discover, because at that time the circular formula was not there. And he didn't know how to explain this carbon with the hydrogen, the links and things. He was sitting beside the cheminée, playing with the fire, and suddenly the flame of the fire was like a snake, and he came to that. Thousands of people may see that, but doesn't come to that theory. Of course, he should have had some scientific background, unless he couldn't go to that. But that doesn't mean we can introduce.
But it is the context of discovery, not the context of justification.
The
Yes.
context of?
In philosophy of science, there are two kinds of contexts.
Yeah.
Context of discovery and context of justification.
Yeah.
Yes, and the people found that by dreaming the formula of benzene. Also Einstein gets inspired from thinking no strict method, no scientific method. But in this context of discovery, and after the findings, they or other scholars can justify through scientific method or acceptable. So in scientific, so there are also discussion between, for example, Thomas Kuhn and Popper, and maybe radical, very extremist in pragmatism in science is like Paul Verhoeven. He said anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything goes. But this viewpoint can be misguided or can be misled as by many scholars in postmodern, for example, to promote relativism and skepticism. You cannot find the universal truth.
Yeah. Anything. I mentioned yesterday that anything beautiful can be misused. You cannot stop it. Then the only way you can stop it is to stop the whole beauty. Is a problem. I will explain in the Ain al-Ghazal about his understanding of shaitan. And is it the same point?
Could we have
let me finish that. When you mentioned about the Thomas Kuhn and Karl Popper and the other one, on that run, the relativity introduced by Thomas Kuhn in the field of philosophy of science is completely different from what Popper is describing. But all of them are based on a justifiable, for example, refutability, which offers by Karl Popper is different from the one of Thomas Kuhn. But you can find a common base between them, because scientific propositions cannot be paradoxical, but artistic propositions are paradoxical. I explained yesterday, because it is paradoxical, then you cannot take common ground. I gave you an example. For example, even talking about the supreme realities of God, talking about day-to-day understanding our relation, our counteraction with the universe around us. For example, very simple. Let me give you a very simple example of Saadi. He wants to talk to his beloved, not to God. He said that گفته بودم چو بیایی غم دل با تو بگویم چه بگویم که غمت دل برود چون تو بیایی. This is a paradox. I told you, my beloved, that if I see you one day, I will narrate for you all of the pains in my heart because of you. But the problem is that when I see you, there is no pain. to be narrated. You know, this is paradox.
Yes.
When you have something, but when you come to a state of mind, you are not that anymore to be able to justify. Okay? گفتم دامنی از گل فراهم کنم هدیه اصحاب را. is a prelude to the گلستان سعدی. دامنی از گل فراهم کنم هدیه اصحاب را، چون به خرمن گل رسیدم بوی گلم چنان مست کرد که دامنم از دست برفت. This is a paradoxical. I will explain later. Thank you.